Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Animaking 3. And I want to talk to you after the intro is finished about a new special series and I want to hear your guys' input. So, listen up after the intro is finished. However, as you can see, I've stopped What If Naruto Had All of Jack's powers because I'm gonna remake it guys, but I'm gonna need some time, yes. I'm gonna remake the entire series. I think I have a far better idea on how to spin it. So yeah, I'm gonna be remaking that. However, in the meanwhile, here is something to enjoy guys. Basically, what if Naruto was created to be the vessel of a god? Yes guys, so just stay in tune and check it out. And I hope you guys enjoy. And remember to listen up after the intro to tell me your impact and feedback about the new idea that I've been working on. So yeah. So without further ado or wasting more time, how about we jump right into this? Let's begin now guys. So before we begin guys, I've been working on an idea, basically a fusion of the One Punch Man universe and the Naruto universe, with Naruto being the MC of course, with the world containing monsters and all the villains from the One Punch Man universe, but it's mainly gonna focus on the Naruto universe because they will be having the powers of the One Punch Man heroes and the villains as well. So you would have people like Jiraiya having the power of Blast, Minato having the powers and skills of Flashy Flash, and yes guys, I even have an idea for the god of the One Punch Man universe in this series. It's something I've been thinking about, and I just want to hear your feedback and comments down below. So yeah, tell me what you think. So yeah guys, without further ado or wasting more time, how about we jump right into this brand new series. Let us begin now guys. We begin this episode in the vast location of space. Countless planets, so large, so vast, and yet they were so far away from one another. Space was truly remarkable. It seems the universe would never stop, constantly growing, reaching new heights. However, at the moment, something phenomenal, something catastrophic was taking place. Two beings were fighting. Whoever they were beyond any comprehension of normal mortality. They fought with a force that shook galaxies, ruptured planets into nothingness. Their attacks was enough to wipe out countless stars. And that was some of their basic attacks. Their power was maximum. Whoever these beings were, countless planets were wiped away because of them. However, in the end, one of them fell. Before that one fell though, it did something to the second one that seemed to wound it. However, in the end, the second remained in one, held its hand out and released several powerful wave of energies that spread throughout the universe. Those vast, consuming energy spread throughout the universe and traveled to far, far distant planets away. It took them a very, very long time to travel throughout the vast universe. However, the one that we're focusing on is a purple source. A purple light traveling at a tremendous speed, whipping past planets. Perhaps it was fate, perhaps it was destiny. No one knew except for that being that was fighting earlier, as that source of energy was closing in on a place known as the Elemental Nation. At the moment, at the Elemental Nation, in a village known as Konoha, the most powerful village, a young boy was thrown. He slammed hard into a tree. before he collapsed on the ground. The young boy screamed out in pain and agony. Looking down, his stomach and chest area was ripped open by claws. In front of him was a giant bear. A massive bear. It reigned supreme. It was about to devour him, tear him to pieces. The boy's name was Naruto. Uzumaki. Naruto was a lonely child. He didn't have any friends. He didn't have any parents. There was two options that he could take. One, try to draw attention to himself. Or simply try to make people forget about his existence. Because the hateful glares, they were too much. While people did not physically harm him, they did not touch him, but they pretended like he didn't exist. And that was perhaps more painful. The look in their eyes. He wanted to start the academy to become a ninja so he can go out in the world and meet new people that probably don't hate him as much. However, it seems like his dream was not going to be possible. He had decided to stay away, to just be by himself. It was better than the glares and the looks. So he was a quiet child. Most of the nights, for example this one, he explore, adventure. He really liked that. However, it was his mistake to go beyond the forest. He crawled under the fence. He shouldn't have gone. And now he was in agony and pain, as he could slowly feel himself slipping away. He could feel himself getting weaker and weaker. Inside of the boy's mindscape, unaware to him, there was a massive beast that was frantically trying to heal said boy. The beast's name was Kurama. It was the most powerful beast, the Ninetales. Its story was long and vast. However, now it was sealed into a child. Said Ninetales was trying to stop the boy from meeting his untimely death. However, there was a problem. As time go on, the seal would grow weaker, allowing the Ninetales to gain more influence over the boy with his chakra, but right now the seal was powerful. The fox was not aware what will happen if this child was to die. The seal was a binding with the Shinigami. Tail beasts could reform. However, he did not know if he could reform from this. Half of his power, half of himself, was already stripped away. So he was confused, not knowing if he would come back. On the outside, the bear attacked. It attacked, mauling Naruto. He screamed out as he was ripped into. The fox tried his best, cursing as this damn seal wouldn't allow him to push any more chakra. And the beast was ferocious. This was beyond humiliating. They were connected. If this child died, he also died. That means he would be killed by a damn animal. He roared out in rage, shaking the entire mindscape as he slammed against the bars vigorously. He slammed and slammed. However, the seal was shut tight, unable to break until this boy's heart completely ceased to stop beating. Kurama roared out, releasing a terrible roar that shook the entire place once again, cursing at his luck of all the damn vessels that he was sealed in. He cursed. On the outside, Naruto, he could see a strange light consuming him. It was over, he thought to himself, when something came from the heavens. Fate, destiny, whatever it was. The beam of purple light slammed down on the area. The bear was thrown back, crashing through a tree. The beam did not cause a super collision or anything. Instead, it poured into Naruto. It flooded into him. It consumed him. Inside of the mindscape, Kurama stopped what he was doing when he noticed a strange wave pulsating beyond the bars. There was a strange gem, a purple gem, as it started to crack. Kurama watched it carefully until, shit, boom, it exploded, swallowing everything within the mindscape. In the outside world, my head, Naruto said as he picked himself up, rubbing his eyes. He felt so strange, looking around as he was confused. What's going on? His eyes then widened as he remembered. How is he alive? The bear. He couldn't outrun it. That is when he heard it, a roar. The bear was back on its feet. Oh shit, said Naruto as he started to back away in fear. The thing seemed more pissed off than before as it ran straight towards him. Naruto turned as he slammed right into the tree. So fearful he wasn't looking where he was going. Naruto picked himself up, but the bear jumped and he screamed in fear. That is when it happened. The entire village of Konoha was alarmed. A violent, incredible force of power erupted from the child. It didn't only incinerate the bear, it wiped out a quarter of the forest. Naruto, fearful as hell, opened his eyes, trying to understand what was going on. When he noticed all the destruction, Naruto knew that he should not be out here. What just happened he did not know. He didn't want to get in any trouble. The people already hate him, so he turned and ran. He ran as fast as he could, the opposite way. He just kept on running and running and running and running. However, Naruto realized something. He was running the opposite way, not back to the village, but back to the forest. So he spun around and turned in a circle as he went straight, taking the other path of the forest until he arrived towards another section. Naruto ran as he arrived towards a fence. He jumped, but the moment he touched it, as he did not see the signs or the warning, a violent electric shock traveled through his entire body. However, Naruto had his grip into the fence so tight, he destroyed the chain links. As he fell through, his eyes widened from that shock as smoke was coming from him as he twitched on the ground. But he picked himself up though, as it wasn't so bad. He kept on running, having no idea where he was going. He just didn't want to get caught. He ran for a good 30 minutes, as he seemed to not be aware that he was not getting tired, not even in the slightest. As Naruto finally saw a way out, Naruto arrived as he dig and dig and dig and dig and dig and dig until he could go under the other fence, afraid to touch it as he was afraid to get electrocuted. When he arrived into an open section as he took his way back to the village, as he was not in the red light district though, he simply ran through the alleyways. He's been through the village a lot. He kept on running and running and running and running until he arrived to his building and ran into his apartment. Naruto crawled right under the bed, hiding, hoping that no one had saw him. He didn't know how he was still alive. As he looked around, still not aware that he was not tired even after running for so long. Meanwhile, Hiruzen Sarutobi, the third Hokage of the village, arrived. Hiruzen had his envoys scouting the area and his people. What could have caused this? Hiruzen thought to himself, looking around at all of the destruction. Hokage-sama, I think we found something. Hiruzen made his way. As he arrived towards a fence, the electrified fence, as he saw the material was burnt out. Something was wrong though. It was like chakra is in the ear, and yet it was strange. It was a feeling that none of them could understand, not even the sensors. They brought Hyugas. They brought Inuzakas, for them to find small patterns or clues However, the scent. The Inuzakas could not pick up on the scent. There was this weird sensation giving off from the entire area that blocked them from tracking anything. Their investigation led to nothing. They couldn't find anything. Whatever happened out here was a mystery that they couldn't seem to solve. A great, grave mystery. The next morning, we find Naruto waking up in the bed. As he looked around, everything seemed to be quite alright, he thought to himself. He picked himself up and decided to go to the bathroom, having to use the toilet. He paused though when he noticed something in the mirror. Naruto rubbed his eyes to see if he was seeing correctly. It must be because he just woke up, he thought to himself, because he could swear that a moment ago, he saw something looking back at him in the mirror that was not his image. He used the toilet. Once he was done, he was about to wash his hands. As he did, he decided to brush his teeth. He leaned down as he spat. When he came back up, he jumped, slamming into the bathroom, crashing down into the shower. Naruto was fearful as hell. Picking himself back up as he glanced towards the mirror. It was himself, but he was different. Looking back at him was a reflection that did not look like him. His hair was wild and orange. He had red slitted eyes and sharp canines. Would you stop freaking out? His voice came back deep and rough. What are you? Said Naruto. I am the nine-tailed fox, and I'm not sure what happened, but now seems we're stuck together even more than before. Oh, I see, Naruto said. I'm dreaming. He pinched himself. Ow. What the hell? He pinched himself again, and again, and again. You're not dreaming, you stupid brat. Then what the hell is going on? The reflection sighed. If you're going to understand, you first need to know why the people always see you as the enemy. Why they despise you, why they treated you the way they did. Wait, you know why? Yes, it's very simple. They have mistaken you for me. Tell me, what do you know about the Nine-Tails attack? I heard people talking about it. They say the fourth Hokage. I don't know who that is though. They say that he killed it and gave his life to do so. Stupid humans. A being like myself cannot be killed. So he sealed me in a child. And that child was you. What? And those stupid humans have spent the last few years mistaking you for me. As Naruto dressed back. So that's it. That's why they hate me. Yes. That's why they see you as a monster, because they think that you are me. Why? Why would the fourth Hokage do that? Why would he do that to me? This doesn't make sense. Why, out of everyone else? Why put all this burden on me? Someone that doesn't have anything to begin with. And you strip away any chance of me gaining anything in the future. This doesn't make any sense. Stop having a meltdown, you brat. Naruto snapped his furious gaze up. The reflection was not mimicking his movements. He just looked at him. Don't tell me to calm down, said Naruto. My entire life has been hell. People pretend like I'm not even there. Like I don't even exist. They stare at me. They whisper behind my back. You're right. They have mistaken you. They have mistaken me for you. Because they treat me as a monster. I know what you did. I heard that you killed countless people. Why? Why did you do that? The fox did not reply. Answer me, said Naruto. You're just as much to blame as the fourth Hokage is. So tell me why. Tell me now, he screamed. Suddenly, their eyes locked as Naruto saw something. Naruto fell over on the ground. What the hell? Kurama looked back towards Naruto quizzically. How did you do that? You You were being manipulated. Naruto said, surprised. A moment ago he saw the fox being used by someone. He saw when he lost all sense of control and he felt it as well. But he was not sure how. Naruto walked. So, you were being used. You did not choose to kill those people. Naruto said, looking down. Kurama remaining quiet. That still doesn't excuse the fourth Hokage for what he did. Why did he put this burden on me? He didn't even know me. And yet, he chose to do this to... Once again, Naruto was cut off by himself. It happened in a flash, but his mind processed it all. Naruto gasped out. He looked at the fox. You killed them. Naruto said. My parents. He was utterly shocked. He saw the images in his mind. He understood. He didn't know how, but those people. Minato, Kushina. He could see it. He could see it all. He remembered his mother telling him to grow up big and strong. Don't drink until he was over the age of 21. And find the right girl. It was a shocking reality and an understanding that shook Naruto to his very core. He ran out of the bathroom as he slammed the door. For the entire day, Naruto simply walked around the village. Strangely enough, he didn't even feel hungry. He simply walked around, trying to clear his mind. At the end of the day, Naruto returned home. As he stood and glanced into the mirror of the bathroom, nothing happened at first. He waited and waited until his reflection changed. Have you finally calmed down? Kurama said back to him. Naruto took a deep breath. I saw why you did what you did. You didn't want to be sealed away ever again. You tried to kill me, said Naruto. At the same time, they imprisoned you. They trapped you. But you still killed my parents. Naruto said, clenching his fists. For that, I hate you. However, I'm willing to listen to find out what the hell is going on. And what happened to me last night. I figure that is when all of this happened. Hate me as much as you want. I don't really care about your opinion, but you're right. Something did happen last night. You ran for a long time last night, and tell me, did you feel exhausted or tired? No, not really. Have you eaten today? Humans need food to operate, to keep their energy, their strength. How do you feel? I feel fine, said Naruto. What's going on with me? I'm not sure. However, I am no longer trapped in you by a seal. Somehow, our mind and soul and bodies have somehow linked together and become one. I don't seem to have a physical form anymore. Pick up that mirror over there. Naruto walked over towards the little hand mirror. Now turn it towards me. Naruto blinked when he saw his own reflection at the mirror. What's this? It seems you're the only one that can see me as such, when directly looking at something that reflects your image, so others cannot see you or hear you. I don't think that I'm a visual reflection of you. I'm simply in your head. Step away. Naruto did. Can you hear me? Yeah. I can still see you as well, said Naruto. Standing in front of him was Kurama. However, he wasn't a fox. Same image as the mirror one. Kurama looked at his hands and legs. It seems I'm trapped in this limbo state for the time being. I don't particularly want to stay here with you. After all, you do hate me, do you not? he said with a grin. Yes, I do. So let's find a way to reverse what the hell happened, so I can get my freedom. And how am I going to do that? I have no idea, Kurama said. Naruto sat down on his couch. Well, that's a bummer, he said. The next day, we find Naruto running, and running and running and running. He's been running for 2.5 hours straight. The timer finally went off. Whoa. This is kind of amazing, Naruto said. I don't even feel a bit winded. He was shocked. He looked at his hands, legs. He seemed fine. They still haven't found out a way to separate themselves from each other. However, Kurama noticed more things as Naruto trained. I'm not sure what has taken place inside of you, but I can feel that you don't seem to have a limit. Everyone has a limit. Even when they try to push their body past certain areas and run until they feel a burn, their body will eventually shut down, but I don't see a limit on yours. Not even your chakra. Your chakra doesn't even seem like chakra anymore. Whatever it is, it's powerful. Seem to be even powerful than what I wield. Kurama said, sounding surprised by that last part. So what are you saying exactly? Well, you're still weak. What? I said you're still weak. As much as this is great, you're still not powerful. You're still the same child, just without able to feel your limits or get tired. However, you can use this to your advantage to protect yourself until we find a way to separate the both of us. What exactly do you have in mind? Said Naruto. Time skip. Naruto was slammed on his back rather hard. Standing over him was none other than the one they praised so much. The girls in the class were already liking him. He's been going to the academy for a few days now. This boy, his name was Sasuke Uchiha, from the Uchiha clan. All the girls seemed to like him already. The teacher wanted to see what they were capable of. So Naruto was called to fight Sasuke. The match didn't even last for a good 30 seconds. Sasuke demolished him as Naruto lay on the ground in shame. See? I told you, you're still weak. It hasn't been long since Naruto had seemingly merged with the fox and become one, something that the both of them can't understand. As Naruto had not been focusing much on that because he wanted to prepare for the academy. However, he was now humiliated. The first time he ever fight someone for real, and he was taken out in seconds. Sasuke looked down towards him. I guess we're not on the same level. Not at all. He walked off acting all cool as the girls screamed. Yes, they screamed. As Naruto lay there, greatly disappointed in himself. Time skip. Naruto was running once again. However, he was running for hours. 7 hours to be quite exact. Naruto has not told the Hokage anything. The more time passed, the more Naruto started to not trust him as much. He didn't understand why. The man knew the pain that he was going through, and yet not even giving the courtesy of letting him understand why he was experiencing such pain by being treated this way by everyone. And he didn't understand. If he was the son of the Hokage, how could he have such a life? The more time passed, the more he started to distrust the Hokage. So he simply focused on himself. He started to work out. He started to train. However, the biggest part was controlling this force that was inside of him. The fox had absolutely no idea what it was. He said that it seems like chakra, but at the same time, it was not chakra at all. It was far, far stronger. Naruto could only work on this in the nights, as he didn't want anyone to find out. Here he was, now 8 years old as he stood in the field. His eyes were closed, his arms outstretched aside. His body was surrounded by a purple glow. It started to revolve around him like a dome, spinning and spinning until it started to pull in. It's wrapped around his body like a second layer of skin. As Naruto opened his eyes, he felt strange. He felt like his existence was stretching. Turning toward the tree opposite towards him, Naruto thrust forward at his fastest. It barely took him a second to reach. As he slammed his fist in the tree, the bark immediately broke. The center of the tree flying straight in the forest. However, the purple aura seemed to act like a second layer of fists. As his fist was too fast, so the aura had to catch up. It made contact and completely eviscerate the entire tree. Naruto was baffled as he looked towards his hands. He continued training as more years passed. Normally, if anyone did this training, they would be unable to reach this height because their body would stop them from growing, but Naruto could not get tired. Even after training, even after pushing himself to the limits, push-up, pull-ups. In the past few years, Naruto has done over a few million in each. His body just would not give out. His muscles were not straining. Instead, they were taking the benefit of each of the training and improving himself. And his constant running, his body was getting more and more lean, muscles packing on him. And he was also getting taller. When he first started the academy, he was one of the shortest guys, but now, here he stood. Naruto was 12 years old, and he was 5'5". He was 4'9" not too long ago. He was growing so fast. He didn't really need to eat nowadays to maintain his energy or strength. He just did it because he liked to eat. Hiruzen had noticed the changes within the boy. For one thing, Naruto stopped mostly coming to him. Because Naruto didn't have much friends, or any to be quite exact, in the village, except for the people at the ramen store. They were nice to him. Hiruzen always had a visit from the boy, but in recent years, the boy had tended to slink away from him. He mostly only see him when he gave him his monthly stipend, and Naruto was always sitting down. Hiruzen had no idea why the boy was drawing away. In the past few years, things had not been easy within the village. Itachi Uchiha had massacred his entire clan, leaving Sasuke Uchiha alone within the village, as the only Uchiha here. And that was not good at all. So Hiruzen could not focus on Naruto as much as he would like. Over the past few years, the people had not really focused on Naruto, with the Uchiha massacre and Naruto staying by himself. It was lonely at times for Naruto, having no friends. The person that he only talked to was, well, you could say himself in an extent. But it was the fox that he mostly talked to. No one else. He had not gone out of his way to try to make friends with the students at the academy. He's just been focusing on training. And that is all that he's done for the past couple of years. Training. Constantly. Training. Constantly. Training. Constantly. And he couldn't get tired. The day finally came, as Naruto was looking forward to becoming a ninja so that he could explore the world outside. He also figured that he was going to have a conversation with the third, for the man to tell him everything why. He never told him anything. He figured that he would do it soon. After all, if he was going to protect himself out there, he couldn't afford to hold himself back. So we find Naruto now 13 years old, within the forest. There was a headband on his forehead. The test was extremely easy. And besides, this power inside of him, for the time being he's named it the Force. He could wield it as he see fit, doing certain things like making clones. It was extremely easy. His body seemed to just understand, to know what to do. Same for the Force that he used inside of him. It seemed to just understand what he wanted and do it. He was getting stronger day by day. And now that he was a ninja, he was finally going to explore the world. Aruka had wished him luck. Aruka was not a bad person. Out of all the teachers, Aruka was the one that actually sat down and talked with him. His scores were bad because whenever there was time to fight, Naruto was the one to give up, not to really put any effort in it, and he didn't really focus on the test subject part of anything. So yes, his scores were extremely bad. However, Aruka believed with someone there to guide him properly at his side, he would become a splendid shinobi. At least, Aruka was a good person, other than most in the village. Well, he had Toki and Ayam. They were wonderful people, Naruto thought to himself. That is when he heard something. Oh yeah, another thing is hearing. The person was far, far, far away, and yet Naruto heard them quite well. As Naruto ran, it only took him seconds, which should have took minutes to arrive towards a cabin. Naruto stood there as he looked down to see someone hiding behind it. As someone else arrived on the scene, Naruto was surprised when he saw that it was Mizuki sensei. Mizuki was the part-time teacher who stand in for Aruka and also taught sometime with him as well. There was another guy that he did not know. He had dark hair and beady eyes. The dark-haired ninja spoke up as he shouted towards Mizuki. "Why did you kill him?" "Calm the hell down," Mizuki said. "He became a liability the moment he got injured. It's just you and me now, Natsu." The dark-haired ninja known as Natsu growled, but he simply accepted those terms. "Fine, let's get the hell out of this village," he said, holding on to a massive scroll. "Yeah, give me the scroll." Natsu gazed towards Mizuki as he seemed to not trust him. "I'll hold on for it for now. Let's just get the hell out of here." That is when someone jumped down and landed in front of them. Naruto's gaze swept over the both of them. What the hell? Where did he come from? "Naruto," Mizuki said with a calm demeanor. "What are you doing out here?" "You stole that scroll," said Naruto, "and you're trying to flee the village. Are you a traitor?" "Why bother asking?" Kurama said. "The action is plain in front of you." "But he's been at the academy for 6 years," said Naruto. "Maybe even beyond that. How could you do that and then turn around and betray the people that you swore your loyalty to?" Naruto said, angry about that, as he used it to reflect on his own, past. Because people did not choose to be faithful and trust people and tell them information that they should know. While it should not be seen as such, Naruto was angry for that. "Mizuki, we don't have time for this," Natsu said. "Let's just take the brat down." "You know, you're right. I figure I'll do Konoha a great service by killing you right here and now." "What?" said Naruto as Mizuki took the massive Fuma shuriken off his back. "Before I go, you should know something before your demise. Why the people around here hate you. It's because I have the 9 tails inside of me." Mizuki blinked. "Ah, you know that? Huh. Never thought you did. Well then, I guess all that is left is just death." He threw the shuriken towards Naruto, only for Naruto to lean back as he pushed his fingers through the circular hole and stopped it. The action was incredibly fast, slow to Naruto but fast to them. How? What the hell was that?" Natsu said. "You tried to kill me," said Naruto. There was a dark look in his eyes. "Hope you're not gonna go soft on him. He tried to take your life without even thinking." "Rip him apart," Kurama said. "Perhaps you're right," said Naruto, as he threw the shuriken as it split through at least a dozen trees. "He's scum. Scum deserve to die." His words were laced with anger. Over the years, Naruto had built up a lot of anger inside of him, knowing many things about him and watching the Hokage not say anything. Granted, most of this was leaned towards the Hokage, but it seemed to have consumed most of his goodness. That night when the bear almost took his life, or even if it did, a part of him changed. However, Naruto was never your goofy, fun-loving child anyways. Quiet, secretive, and kept things to himself. That's how you describe Naruto. Mizuki snapped out of the fearful feeling as he glared towards Naruto. Don't get so cocky, brat. I'm a Chunin. I can destroy you with a finger. Why don't you go ahead and try it? And let's see who gets destroys. Enough of this nonsense, Natsu said. He slammed the scroll on the ground before he dashed towards Naruto kunai in hand. Naruto tilted his head as he gripped the wrist. What the hell? How is this kid so... Natsu was cut off as Naruto broke his wrist. Naruto then lashed out with a jump, gripping his face as he slammed it into the earth with a tremendous amount of force. Force that he unexpectedly used in his rage, because Natsu's head was splashed out like a pancake. As Naruto looked toward his hand, covered in blood, this was the first time he took someone's life. He didn't feel bad. He thought killing was supposed to be a bad thing, but then again, ninjas kill all the time. Are they monsters? Mizuki was fearful, but he saw the opportunity as he rushed forward. Kunai in hand, he stabbed it directly into Naruto's heart, aiming to end the child's life. However, Naruto swung his arm around so fast, it moved like a chopper. With the speed that he moved it with, Mizuki's arm was sliced off. The man was shocked. Second time you tried to kill me, said Naruto. There will not be a third. He grabbed Mizuki's left arm. Naruto yanked with a considerable amount of force, tearing the arm out of the sockets. Mizuki screamed out for a bloody murder, in agony and pain, as Naruto pointed two fingers towards his chest. Bang! A purple bullet of sorts fired from his finger and slammed into Mizuki. The man was launched, crashing into a large piece of stone as it tore through his back and burst through his chest. The force that he was going with was too much. Mizuki's gaze looked down towards this sharp piece of stone before his head leaned back. Naruto looked at the man's corpse as he stood there. He brought his hand up to his face as he wiped his hair out of his face, having his headband slacked around his neck. As a blood splashed on his face, Iruka ran onto the scene, followed by many envoys. Naruto, Iruka said. Sensei, said Naruto, half of his face being covered in blood from wiping his hair back. The look in his eyes, a dark one, as the bodies could be seen. Time skip. Naruto sat within the office. Explain to me what happened out there, Hiruzen said. Mizuki. He took that scroll. I'm not sure what it was. I heard them talking. They were traitors of this village. They tried to kill me to get away, so I killed them. Hiruzen seemed strange as he looked towards Naruto. He was frightened. He had not noticed that Naruto had changed as much. His hair longer, he was taller, and he was more muscular. He hadn't been paying attention that much. I'm not doubting what you say because the sight was there for all to see, but how did you defend yourself against two Chunins? Here's an axe. There's a lot that you don't know about me. I've been waiting for the right time to speak to you about this. Waiting, wondering when. Did you think that it was possible or remotely good for my sanity from all the hate to tell me about my parents? That my father was a goddamn Hokage? That my father and mother risked everything for this village, and yet their own son, their child, is treated like garbage? Hiruzen was shocked. They gave everything up. They also gave me up to save this village by sticking me with the 9 tails, and yet you kept this all away. Despite the times I've begged you and asked you what happened to my parents, you've lied to me over and over and over again. Naruto said. Hiruzen couldn't believe or understand how Naruto. How did you? Why? Why did you lie to me? Said Naruto. Hiruzen took a breath. I know you're very upset right now. Oh, I've been upset a long time ago. I'm just beyond whatever it is right now. Naruto said, gazing towards the old man. Never has Hiruzen seen such anger and hate within Naruto's eyes. As Hiruzen released another breath. Time skip. Naruto seated in his house. Well, do you forgive him or not? Naruto scoffed. All he did was tell him some bullshit about. He didn't want him to be discovered. However, Naruto did not care what he had to say. It wasn't enough of an excuse to not make sure that his life wasn't garbage. To do more after everything that his parents gave for this village. It seems your new attitude has sparked quite the growing interest. I sensed them as well, said Naruto. He knew that he was being watched. He informed the Hokage that he's been training a lot in secret and that he's gotten a lot stronger. However, Hiruzen was worried about the merciless way that Naruto had taken out those two. And he was shocked to find out that Naruto had crushed someone's head. That didn't seem possible even with his training. But perhaps he was wrong. He did not tell Hiruzen about the Force, nor did he tell him about the Fox and him becoming one. As Naruto did not inform him about that, he's not going to tell him everything. Time skip. Naruto was seated in the academy. As he glanced through the window, watching everything take place outside. Well, nothing was really going on. He was watching the birds and the leaf falling. He could hear them. Despite the long distance, he could hear them all. He could hear the crunching of the leaves as the squirrels ran around. He could see the ants. His eyesight was a lot better. His body had improved in drastic ways. To this day, neither him and Kurama understood the Force, nor did they understood the limits that it possessed, because his body seemed to possess no limits, and that had helped him become strong, and he could fully control his strength, as Naruto understood the amount of force to properly use. Looking down towards his table, he started to move his finger in a circle, as the wood started to creak and break slightly. Naruto carved out a small little, tiny circle as he picked it up. He aimed it toward the open window. As he flicked it, it fired off like a bullet with tremendous force as it tore through a squirrel, before destroying the ant's nest and tearing into the ground. It seems your strength has grown to superhuman levels, Kurama said to him. You yourself don't even know of your own limits. However, you're going to become a ninja now. You will be able to test it, he said. Yeah, I will, said Naruto, as he clenched his fist and opened it. Beside him, Naruto glanced. The girl with the white eyes. Her face was set in a shocked look. She saw what he did to the decks. She didn't see what he did outside, but she saw what he did to the decks. The moment he looked at her, she turned away. Seems you have a little admirer, Kurama said to him, as Naruto gazed at her. However, she wasn't looking at him and she was becoming rather red. Time skip. Naruto closed his eyes as he leaned back in his chair, waiting. Every other team had been taken and they were now gone. As Naruto was waiting, Kiba Inuzaka, a boy, believing that he was a so-called alpha, said that they were the loser team, so they had to wait behind. He was placed on Team 7 with Sakura Haruno and Sasuke Uchiha. The person that he probably talked to the most in this class was Sasuke, and that was a fight that they had the first time when they fought. He didn't really talk to anyone else in here. He wasn't a part of their friend group. Granted, their friend group mostly consists of them being arrogant and trying to one-up one another, so he did not really care. As for Sakura, she was happy. She was placed on a team with her crush, the one that she adored, the one that she loved, Sasuke Uchiha. As for Naruto, she did not really know much about him. He did not really talk to her or anyone. He always seemed to just stay by himself. But he didn't matter though, as long as he didn't get in her way. With her Sasuke-kun, she thought to herself, with a bright smile on her face. She was so happy and so excited. However, hours passed by. As Naruto was tapping his finger on the table was completely fine because once again he was completely able to control the amount of strength that he possessed. He was wondering what the hell was going on. When the door finally opened up, a white-haired man entered in the classroom. He gazed at all of them as he looked around. They all looked at him. Only one of his eyes was visible. However, it displayed so many emotions. And now it was filled with boredness. Team 7, he said. Meet me on the roof in 5 minutes. With that, he was gone, leaving them as Sakura mumbled to herself as she turned. She blinked in confusion though. Sasuke saw her strange gaze. Sasuke was also confused. Where was Naruto? Kakashi arrived towards the roof. As Naruto was seated there, the man was startled. How did you get up here? I ran, said Naruto. But that's not possible. Kakashi said, greatly confused. There's no way you could have beaten me up here. Kakashi had quickly used Sunshin, so that was not possible. I guess you're not as fast as you think, Naruto said to him, his gaze looking cold. Hiruzen had spoken to him on the matter, and what had happened. Iruka seemed to be aware as well. Well, he was there, so he was. However, while Naruto said that his training had paid off, this was not what Kakashi was expecting. The kid bested him up here. The other two finally arrived. Sakura was the first to ask, where did you go? She said, looking towards Naruto. Where did I go? Can you not see me? He asked. That's not what I meant. One moment you were in the class, next moment you were gone. I ran, said Naruto. That's not possible. I would have seen you. I guess your eyes are not fast enough to keep up with me, said Naruto. We don't have all day. You've already wasted enough of our time on being late, so why don't we get this running, shall we? Kakashi decided to do some investigation, but not now. He's right. Why don't you all have a seat? Naruto leaned back as the man wanted to know their hobbies, dreams, and goals. He's never really focused on his classmates that much, but was this girl for real? Her entire personality, her entire reason was because of the Uchiha. Naruto heard about the massacre. That must be truly bad for the Uchiha to lose everyone. However, he didn't really care that much. As the fox was talking to him, they were talking about something completely different. It was about their missions and what they would do. They still haven't found a way to detach from each other, and there seems like there was no possible way of doing so. So constantly hating each other was not going to be a good thing. And Naruto had no friends really, and the fox was stuck here. So they talk. Despite the fact that Naruto was still pissed off that his parents were killed because of him. Well, he hasn't talked about that for a long time. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. I like ramen. I hate a lot of things. So many things that I've come to see that are just a waste of time, a waste of space, A waste of existence. I don't have a goal or dream for the future. Never truly had one. I'm still a kid after all, maybe. I'll get one in the coming future, said Naruto. His tone sounded so dark, so decrepit as he spoke. It just made you feel afraid. The years have not been kind to Naruto with his own self-loathing. He's really festered in his hate and it's turned him into a really ugly person. He no longer see the joy in things around him. He used to find fun in things around him but no longer. Maybe it was exploring. He still wanted to do that. Go out in the world and see what the world is capable of. See what being a ninja is truly capable of. Fighting. Maybe that would make him happy as well. Time skip. Turns out they were not quite finished just yet. They had a second test. As Naruto arrived towards the location, Sakura was going to say that he was late, but Naruto was a strange person. The look that he gave everyone was rather off-putting. She never really looked at him that much in the past, but now, he always seemed to be angry. Sasuke thought that he was the always serious one, but Naruto was different. However, Sasuke did not think much of Naruto the first time they fought. He demolished him. And he's only grown stronger since then. He had to after all. Sakura was bored though as she spoke, "You're late." Naruto looked at her. "Can I ask you a question?" "Yeah," she said. "Where's our sensei?" I don't know," she said. "How am I late then, if he's not here to do what he said that he would do at 7? It's now 9, said Naruto, and he's still not here. I figured that he would be late. So I'm late, he said. Well, that's enough, said Naruto. As he turned away from her, he was done talking. The Hokage was watching him greatly ever since their little conversation. He could feel the eyes upon him whenever he was walking through the village. However, he figured that he's done enough training for the time being. Granted, it did not really hurt him to do more, but still. And he did a couple of laps, just to show that he had been training, so they wouldn't be more and more suspicious. However, Naruto had noticed that the force inside of him could do a lot more. For example, as Naruto gazed over toward a small little plant, he held his hand out. The plant started to move. His will. As Naruto was about to do something else until, Kakashi finally arrived, causing Sakura to shout at him that he was late. He took the long way around, because he saw a black cat. Naruto simply ignored his stupid idling talks. When the time finally came, he pulled out 2 bells. But, Sensei, that means one of us will not get a bell, Sakura said. Exactly. Kakashi said to her, well, we're going to eat our lunch first, he said, causing Sakura and Sasuke's stomach to grumble, as Naruto seemed to be completely fine. And then you will have a few more hours to try and get a bell. But the one that get tied to the post, you won't get any lunch. Your poor performance of not giving it your all will be doing the trick. So that means, come at me with the intent to kill, or you will not pass. Alright? Begin! Both Sakura and Sasuke jumped away. Kakashi was about to reach for his book, as he noticed Naruto standing there. Head-on approach, I see. Not very wise of you to do. Naruto tilted his gaze as he looked at him. He looked down towards the bells. Naruto then clenched his fist as he raised it into the sky, before he plunged it into the earth. What followed was a shocking revelation to many. The entire earth erupted in a violent blast, tearing the land to sunders. The entire section was obliterated as Naruto demolished the place. Kakashi was baffled, covered in dust. and scratches, able to dodge most of the debris. Sakura fell out of the tree that she was in. Completely shocked, Sasuke pulled himself out of the bushes. His eyes widened in shock, confusion. Anvus and ninjas standing by arrived to the scene as Naruto stood in the center, holding the two bells in his hand. He then proceeded to crush it. He crushed it. As he opened his palm, there was nothing there. I guess. None of us pass, he said. As Kurama spoke up in his head, you will see that my theory is right about this stupid test. Showing them that you're not willing to go on without your teammates should do the trick. And I suppose, also showing that your strength is greater than what the Hokage truly believe will be a shocker for all. Kurama said, chuckling at the looks on their faces. The fun was only beginning. A far distance away from the elemental nation. Far, 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 far away. The same deity that was fighting was now resting in what seemed to be a throne. The being of power that shook galaxies, universes, destroyed planets was calmly resting. It seemed to be happy, just going off the vibes that was in the throne room. Very happy it seemed to be. But guys, be end so right here. If you want to see next part and do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in your social media platform. But I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace, guys.